Hello everyone and welcome back to the new session of Biology Chapter 9 Control and Coordination Part 7. Last time we studied about sensory receptors, classification of receptors. In that we studied about exteroreceptors and interoreceptors. Then we studied about eye, ear and disorders of nervous system. In disorders, we studied about psychological disorders, Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. Today, we'll start with chemical coordination. The cells and organisms communicate with each other through chemical signals, and they are broadly classified into 4 types. Cells that release secretions to stimulate the distance or target organ cells are called endocrines. Cells that release secretions to stimulate the neighboring cells are called paracrines. Cells that release secretions to stimulate itself are called autocrines. Organs that release secretions to stimulate other organisms are called pheromones. Higher animals have complex body organization. Due to this, in addition to the nervous coordination, there is need of chemical coordination. Chemical coordination is carried out by secretions of ductless glands. This chemical coordination system is also called the endocrine system. Endocrine system controls body activities by means of chemical messengers. These messengers are called hormones. Hormones are released directly into the blood. The hormone is carried all over the body via blood. However, the message is relayed only to the target organs, which are stimulated to carry out a specific process which include activities like growth and development. Properties of hormones. They act as chemical messengers and are effective in very low concentration. Hormones can function as regulators that inhibit or stimulate or modify specific processes. Some hormones interact with receptors present on plasma membrane of target cells, whereas some enter the nucleus to interact with genes. Hypersecretion or hyposecretion of hormones leads to various disorders. These are metabolized after their function, thus cannot be reused. Hormone secretion is regulated by positive or negative feedback mechanism. Hormones are released in a very small quantity. They produce their effect on the target organ cells by binding to hormone receptors. The hormone receptors may be on the cell membrane or may be intracellular. A hormone receptor complex is formed, and this leads to biochemical change in the target tissue. Now, mode of hormone action through membrane receptors. Hormones like catecholamines, peptide and polypeptide hormones are not lipid soluble. Therefore, they cannot enter their target cell through plasma membrane. Now, these non-steroid water-soluble hormones interact with surface receptors. Peptide hormones binds to a specific receptor molecule located on the plasma membrane and forms receptor complex, which causes the release of adenylate cyclase. The enzyme cyclic AMP from ATP of the cell is formed. Second messengers are IP3 or calcium ion. Mode of action through intracellular receptors. Steroids and thyroid hormones are lipid soluble and easily pass through plasma membrane of the target cell into the cytoplasm. Now here, in the cytoplasm, they bind to specific intracellular receptor proteins forming a hormone receptor complex that enters the nucleus. Now, in nucleus, the hormone receptor complex binds to a specific regulatory site of DNA. The activated genes transcribes mRNA, which directs protein synthesis and enzyme in the cytoplasm. Action of lipid-soluble hormone is slower but long-lasting. Major endocrine glands. First one, hypothalamus. It is ectodermal in origin. It is located at the floor of diencephalon. Major functions of hypothalamus is to maintain homeostasis. It controls the secretory activity of pituitary gland by the release and inhibiting hormone. All hormones of hypothalamus are peptide hormones. They are secreted by neurosecretory cells, so they are called neurohormones. The hormones secreted by hypothalamus are ADH, antidiuretic hormone, and oxytocin or birth hormone. The pituitary gland is the smallest gland. It is a pea-sized reddish-grey colored gland. It is located just below the hypothalamus by a stalk called infundibulum or hypophyseal stalk. Pituitary gland remains lodged in sella turcica of the sphenoid bone. Pituitary gland almost controls all other endocrine glands, hence earlier it was called the master endocrine gland. It consists of two lobes called anterior or adenohypophysis and posterior or neurohypophysis. Both the lobes develop from different parts of embryo, hence it has of dual origin. Adenohypophysis is an outgrowth from the roof of buccal cavity. This outgrowth is called Rachte's pouch. It grows upwards towards the brain. The neurohypophysis grows as a downwards extension of hypothalamus. The two outgrowths together forms the pituitary gland. The connection of Rachte's pouch with pituitary gland is lost in embryo. Intermediate lobe or pars intermedia is the small reduced part lying in the cleft between the anterior and posterior lobe. Adenohypophysis is the largest lobe of pituitary gland. It is highly cellular. It contains three parts, that is pars tuberalis, pars intermedia and pars distalis. Pars distalis contains various epithelioid secretory cells, that is acidophil, basophils, chromophores, etc. It secretes total 6 hormones. Pars intermedia secretes 1 hormone. 6 hormones of adenohypophysis, that is pars distalis, growth hormone or somatotropin or somatotropic hormone or STH or GH. This hormone stimulates growth and development of all tissues by accelerating protein synthesis and cell division. Highest secretion in the growth hormone is seen till puberty, and then its secretion becomes low. However, it is continuously secreted throughout life for repair and replacement of body tissue or cells. Improper secretion of growth hormone produces various disorders. Hyposecretion of growth hormone since childhood results in stunted physical growth and condition is called pituitary dwarfism. Hypersecretion of growth hormone in childhood causes gigantism, a condition of overgrowth. The individual attains abnormal height. When the pituitary gland produces excess growth hormone in middle-aged adults, It results in disproportionate growth, causing disfigurement and enlargement of bones of nose, lower jaw, hands, fingers, and feet. The condition is called acromegaly. Second hormone, prolactin or luteotropic or mammotropin. Prolactin is a unique hormone among the pituitary hormones, as it is under predominant inhibitory control from hypothalamus. Prolactin activates growth of breasts during pregnancy. That's why it is called mammotropin, and stimulates the milk production and secretion of milk, that is lactogenic, by mammary glands after childbirth. So we can call this hormone as prolactin or luteotropin or mammotropin or lactogenic hormone. Thyrotropin or thyroid stimulating hormone or TSH. Its main action is to stimulate the thyroid gland secretion of the hormone, that is thyroxine. It means it stimulates thyroid gland to secrete a hormone called thyroxine. Next is adrenocorticotropic hormone or ACTH or adrenocorticotropin. It stimulates adrenal cortex to produce and secrete its hormones. It maintains functioning of adrenal cortex, and the hormones released are glucocorticoids and sex corticoids. LH or luteinizing hormone. In females, the luteinizing hormone helps in ovulation, that means discharge of ovum from Graafian follicle. FSH and LH are responsible for stimulation of ovaries to produce estrogen, whereas LH, that is luteinizing hormone, induces the ruptured follicles to develop into corpus luteum and for production of progesterone. Interstitial cell stimulating hormone or ICSH. In males, it stimulates the testes to produce the androgen called testosterone. Testosterone is responsible for development of secondary sexual characters of male. FSH or follicle stimulating hormone. It stimulates growth of ovarian follicles in the female, while in males it is concerned with the development of seminiferous tubules, which helps in spermatogenesis, that is formation of sperm. LH and FSH together, they are considered as gonadotropins. Pars intermedia, which is poorly developed in human beings. It secretes melanocyte stimulating hormone or MSH in some lower vertebrates. MSH stimulates the dispersion of melanin granules in melanocytes and is responsible for skin pigmentation. Neurohypophysis. Neurohypophysis is connected directly to the hypothalamus by axon fibers. Adenohypophysis and intermediate lobes are connected to hypothalamus through hypophyseal portal system. Neurohypophysis is differentiated into three parts, that is pars nervosa, infundibulum, and median eminence. The pars nervosa acts as storage area for the secretion of hypothalamus. It stores and releases two hormones, oxytocin and ADH. Oxytocin stimulates the contraction of uterus during parturition. Therefore, it is called pregnancy hormone. It also stimulates the contraction of mammary glands to initiate ejection or release of milk. So, it is also called milk ejecting hormone. Now, this also stimulates the reabsorption of water in the DCT and collecting ducts of uriniferous tubules of the kidney. It decreases loss of water by reducing the urine quantity. It increases blood pressure by causing vasoconstriction. Deficiency of ADH reduces water absorption and increases urine output. This condition is called diabetes insipidus. Excessive micturition causes excessive thirst. This condition is called polydipsia. Pineal gland. The pineal gland is given off from the roof of diencephalon and is located between two cerebral hemispheres. The pineal gland is sensitive to biochemical signals of light. It secretes a hormone called melatonin, also known as sleep hormone. Melatonin is derived from tryptophan and plays a very important role in regulation of biological clock, that is sleep-awake cycle of our body. It helps in maintaining the normal rhythm of sleep-wake cycle and also influences body temperature. I hope you understood the topic. We'll continue in the next video. Till then, take care of yourselves.